How would you react if I told you that our solar system looks like it's set up for the existence of life on planet Earth? In this podcast, we're going to look at 3 reasons why our lives right now are sustained in part by our cosmic neighbourhood. It turns out that there's evidence that our universe is set up for life. The late Freeman Dyson has been described as one of the world's most accomplished mathematical physicists. And he said this: as we look out into the universe and identify the many accidents of physics and astronomy that have worked together to our benefit, it almost seems as if the universe must in some sense have known that we were coming. So many chance occurrences have happened at just the right time. So to Dyson, it can't just be the result of chance alone. There is a bigger purpose at work here. Our solar system is kind of like our own little backyard in cosmic terms. In this podcast, I'll focus on 3 things about our solar system that may point to a bigger purpose for the existence of life on the Earth. In the solar system, 8 planets are ordered in proximity to the Sun. They range from Mercury all the way to Neptune. Poor Pluto got declassified as a planet a while ago. Anyway, the Earth is located in a narrow band referred to as the habitable zone. It's not too close to the Sun, and it's not too far away. It is just the right distance for liquid water to exist on the Earth. And this is critical for life. But the careful positioning of our planet goes way beyond simply the order of the bodies in our solar system. The position of the solar system in the Milky Way galaxy is also vital. Our Milky Way is a spiral arm galaxy 100,000 light years across. What's a light year? It's the distance that light travels in 1 year, 9.4 trillion kilometres. Immense arms of dust and stars stream from the centre of our galaxy. Now, the centre is occupied by supernovas. These are stars that are exploding and throwing matter and radiation out. They are the ovens in which important life-sustaining chemicals are made. Hydrogen, helium, carbon, and so on. So what? Well, here's the important thing for us. Our solar system is not positioned anywhere near the centre of the galaxy. We are much further out on one of the galaxy's arms, and this is vital for the existence of life on Earth. If we were too close to the centre, we would suffer supernova radiation blasts and matter impacts that would be lethal to life on Earth. If our solar system was positioned too far away from the galaxy's arms, there would not have been enough elements around originally to form our solar system in the first place. We are therefore in a habitable zone in the Milky Way galaxy. The position of the Earth is important for life, and we occupy at least 2 habitable zones in the solar system and in the galaxy. But life on Earth is also tied to the attributes of our moon. It turns out the moon is just the right size and distance from Earth to slow our rotation and stabilise our orbit. Both of these are important for life. First, it slows our rotation. The moon influences the Earth through the force of gravity. Now, right now, the Earth is spinning counterclockwise, and the moon is orbiting the Earth at a slower rate. This means that the Earth's surface closest to the moon at this precise second and the opposing backside of the Earth both experience lunar gravitational pull. It's that makes the water in our oceans bulge outwards. If you've ever wandered up the beach and wondered what causes high and low tides, well, now you know. But there's something else going on here. As the moon's gravity tugs on the Earth's water bulge, it slows the planet's rotation, and this effect is important. What would life be like on Earth without it? Days and years would be shorter, and it's estimated that 100-mile-an-hour winds would rage over our planet's surface. We know the devastation that's caused when hurricanes flare up for a few hours. Well, that's probably what the Earth's surface would be like permanently. It would be much harder for advanced life like us to flourish under those conditions. But the moon does something else for us. It stabilises the Earth's wobble. Imagine you set a spinning top going. What happens to it over time? Well, after a while, the top's no longer spinning upright anymore. It's kind of wobbling around as it spins. Astronomers call this phenomenon precession. Earth would process without the right size of moon to minimise its wobble. What would happen if we didn't have the moon to do that? We can guess by looking at Mars. The Martian wobble is chaotic, moving between 0 degrees and 30 degrees throughout its history. What would the Earth be like if it did that? To answer that question, remember that planet Earth's seasons are caused by the precise tilt of the planet. During our annual trip round the sun, summer happens on the surface that tilts closer, and winter happens on the surface that's facing away from the sun. If there was a massive rotational wobble, this would mess up the Earth's seasons. So the moon helps create an environment conducive for life. Our star is described by astronomer Perry Phillips as mediocre. It's not active very often, and you sometimes get emissions and X-ray flares, but these are infrequent. Perry's not criticising the sun, actually. He's describing how it sustains life on Earth. There is a delicate balancing act that's going on. If the sun wasn't active enough, then not enough light energy would be emitted from it, and this would be bad for life on Earth. But if the star was too active, it would blast the Earth with harmful radiation. Aside from its activity, our sun is also not too large. Perry notes that if the sun was 20% larger, it would have burned itself out by now. If it was 20% smaller, the Earth would need to be closer to the sun to receive the energy we need, but this would cause many other problems for life on Earth. That sounds like a second balancing act. Here's a third delicate balancing act. As it was forming, the sun would have been much fainter than it is today. Yet incredibly, another process was underway on Earth. To compensate for the sun's weakness, at this point in history, the primordial Earth was producing a large amount of CO2. Today, carbon emissions increase the greenhouse effect, which could be bad for our planet. But for the Earth of the past, when the sun was fainter, the Earth produced a robust greenhouse effect that caused it to catch and trap what little energy it did receive from the faint sun. And this kept the Earth warm enough so that any early life that was living on it could survive. Later on, at just the right time and rate, oxygen increased on the surface of the Earth as plants developed, and the CO2 levels on the planet reduced just as the sun was heating up so that the Earth's temperature could be controlled. And what do you know? That allowed life to flourish. Maybe Dyson's right. The closer we look at this, we see coincidences upon coincidences. The position of the Earth, the activity of our moon, and our sun are all just right for life to exist. Delicate balancing acts are in play. Now, at this point, a skeptical person might ask a really great question. Could these conditions have been due to chance? There's no special purpose in play here. We just won the cosmic lottery. I'll respond to that counter-argument in a moment. First, here's a thought for this podcast. In Psalm 8, we read, "When I consider your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is mankind that you are mindful of them? Human beings that you care for them." It is genuinely overwhelming to look into the sky and to see the vastness of creation unfolding around us. Who are we? Who am I? Surely in comparison to the universe, I'm tiny. insignificant. Naturally speaking, I do seem insignificant, but not to God. He made us a little lower than the angels and crowned us with glory and honour. Rulers over the works of your hands. You put everything under our feet. God made us to represent Him in His creation. Humanity is uniquely made in His image. God decided that we should oversee the creation that He has given to us. We didn't decide that, He did. And He includes you and me in that promise. Further, He speaks love, value, and confidence over you. He has confidence in your ability to represent Him today. With His help, we can reflect a Christ-like character to everything and everyone around us today. So let's ask Him for the help to do that. So, is chance a sufficient explanation for the conditions making the universe right for life? I think the explanation for life must be far more profound than just many unlikely chance events. Why? Because humans like you and me, we are profound. We aren't just microbes living out our existence. We are complex beings bubbling over with consciousness and creativity. Humans have the incredible ability to discover scientific methods and then use them to study nature. But more than that, we are located in the perfect position in our universe to use our scientific tools to study nature. The habitable zone is like the perfect laboratory bench in creation. Guillermo Gonzalez and Jay Richards say that Earth's conditions allow for a stunning diversity of measurements, from cosmology and galactic astronomy to stellar astrophysics and geophysics. They allow for this rich diversity of measurement, much more so than if Earth was ideally suited for, say, just one of these sorts of measurement. What they're saying is that we see a finely balanced situation in the Earth's location and circumstances, and this allows life to exist, but it also allows us to apply our consciousness and our creativity to do all sorts of different kinds of scientific study. Here's just one example. We use scientific tools to see and understand solar eclipses. Now, a solar eclipse is where the moon obscures the sun from the Earth, but we get to see perfect solar eclipses. It turns out that the only place that perfect solar eclipses can be seen in our solar system, containing 8 planets and 32 moons, the only place that it's visible is on the Earth. That's remarkable. The best eclipses happen just where observers are there to see them and to invent scientific methods and instruments to study them. Surely that speaks to a purpose behind the universe. The chance explanation for the conditions of life just do not seem adequate to account for all of this. Rather, the evidence for design and purpose in the universe stacks up the more we look at things. Herbert Friedman, American physicist and astronomer, said that it's impossible for any sensitive person to look at a star-filled sky without being stirred by thoughts of creation and eternity. The mystery of the origin and destiny of the universe haunts us throughout our lives. I think Friedman was right. The universe is here for a purpose, and we are here to ponder it. But ultimately, we're not here to fulfill the impersonal universe's purpose. We're here for God's purpose. For more on the argument that the solar system is designed for life, refer to the talk Design or Chance in the Solar System by Dr. Perry Phillips.